Hi everyone, welcome to Kats Creations Live on a Friday night, where tonight we're going to do a different version of the mermaid wreath. I don't know if you remember, maybe about a month ago, we did a blue version with a new sign. Well, we're going to do a green version, or seafoam green, with this sign. It's a 12-inch round. It came to us from ThreeBirdsNestCo on Etsy. So I'll have Steve type the link below, and then we're gonna kind of outfit it all to kind of coordinate as best as possible. Seafoam green is probably one of the most challenging colors to match, and it's what we call a tertiary color. It's kind of like an in-between a primary and a secondary color, so you're kind of getting a variation that's really difficult to match. You can come close, but sometimes it's really hard to get a perfect match.
Three Birds Nest, right?
Yeah, Three Birds Nest. Ooh, hold on a sec, let me get him. This just makes it easier for you. There's all the stuff. I just give Steve a list of everything and the dimensions so that way he can field all the questions for me. So, if you like this design, and once you order all your supplies, want to replicate it, go ahead and click the share button down below. The share button allows you to place that video on your page, and it's easy to find rather than to dig through all my videos after the course of, God, it could be a month and then there's just tons of posting and tons of videos. You can also go to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel there. It's under KatsCreationsNMore. You can catch all the videos that I have from, wow, 2018 to current, so it's almost 3 years worth of videos, so you can binge watch that if you need something to do. Also, if you want to be notified when we go live, go ahead and click the like and follow button. Then once you do that, like while you're watching the video right now, you can go ahead and tap on that screen. You'll notice 3 buttons in the upper right hand corner. If you go ahead and click on those 3 buttons, or the 3 little dots, you'll get a couple options down at the bottom, like, you know, closed captioning and all that stuff, but there's one that says turn live notifications on. If you already have it on, it'll say turn live notifications off. So that's just to give you a little tech tip today on how you can turn your notifications on so you don't miss out. If you're new, let us know where you're from. We'd like to welcome you, but also hopefully provide you with an opportunity to connect with somebody close to where you live or in the same city. Let me make sure. YouTube subscribers, if you want to be notified when we go live, just go ahead and click the bell in the upper right hand corner. That turns your notifications on whenever we have a new download. So this is a video from Friday, and I'm trying to think. I think it's April 2nd, I believe, right? Of the year 2021. So if you're catching this video, I don't know, 3 years, 5 years down the line, that's where we're currently at. We're going to use a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. They should slowly start making your way back into your Dollar Tree stores. Ours were out for a while, and now we're starting to see those pop back up. So just have faith, keep checking your Dollar Tree from time to time. Online orders like mine are still back ordered, so we'll see how that fares. Anything else? I don't think so.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right? Okay, let me get on here. So make sure I have all my comments pulled up. And I am good to go. Okay, so tonight we're going to be using a seafoam metallic mesh. This is the color. As you can see, it kind of pairs well with our sign here. So because this mesh is so thin, it's like on one of the thinner types of mesh that you can get from Craft Outlet or the Wreath Shop, we're going to a 30-inch Cruffle. And that's just because it's so thin. I want to give some volume to it because it doesn't have the stiffness some of the wider foil and more expensive mesh does. So before we do that, we have to finish wiring up our frame. And to do that on a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame, you are going to, they're all done. The 5 sections are already done. So we're going to do the 6th one together. You're going to take your pipe cleaner as Steve zooms in. And you're going to wire together the 2 inner rings together with 1 pipe cleaner. That creates some stability so they don't move around as much. And then using that middle and either side of the weld, you're going to kind of come up with a midway point, and you're going to wire together 2 outer rings together. They're about 2 to 3 inches apart. And that'll give you 18 pipe cleaners total, 6 on the inside, 12 to the outside. Now with the size of this frame, it's going to, if we took this right now, it's going to take up most of the wreath, which means that the 6 inside pipe cleaners are not going to be of any value to us other than securing our deco mesh to create a base so we have something for our sign to kind of rest upon. What?
Nancy Ann said, "Hey Kat, have you ordered from Deco Mesh lately from Craft Outlet? I received my Deco Mesh today and the mesh is cheap from Taiwan. Normally it's from Korea. I'm upset because it's worse than Hobby Lobby."
Okay, so my question to you is, if you look at the item number, if it starts with an XB, someone made a reference to it in our private group. They called it extra bad.
Yeah.
And so they said, don't order that, or just be fair warned. And that's exactly what we're dealing with here. Is it's thinner. It does feel of the same quality as Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but it's the colors that you can't get from those places. So with that being said, we thicken it up a little bit, which means you're going to need 2 rolls of the deco mesh to complete this design. Knowing that this has a beige background, I was kind of like toying with the notion, should we do seafoam green and beige as our base? And then I thought, you know what, let's just use all seafoam green to kind of really bring the mermaid out. And then we'll go ahead and accent it with the brown 2.5 inch or the beige. Ribbons are on the outside, and then we'll kind of go and see how that works. So with that, when you're doing the cruffle, what you're doing is you're taking those cut edges and you're curling them under. So it's easier just to fold it at like about 1 inch in, and then you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do chip clip. You can do, I thought I had one. Did I put them back? Clothespins work. Anything to just hold that curl in place so it doesn't roll back up on itself. And then you're going to do it from the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we have this much space. This is where we're going to add the ruffle. So you're just going to pull that curl towards you. And I'm going to start with the inside. And I always put finished edges to the center. So there's my 1. I'm going to give this about 5 twists. And then I'm going to remove it because it's one of the inside 6. Don't need to have it. And now I'll just go to the outside. And I actually already have a couple already done because I do a mock-up ahead of time just to kind of see how thick is that mesh. Is it going to provide good coverage? Is it going to cover the frame? So this just makes it super easy. And there's another purpose for having your Bodabra, is it's a holder for you. So it just holds things. So I was able to pull those off and then just kind of hang on to them without having to re-roll them. So here we're back to the inside again. We will go ahead and remove this one. Just like that. And we want to make sure that we keep the outside ones to the outside so they're easy to find. And now we can go back to doing them the way they're supposed to be. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the only reason I went 30 on this one, like I said, is because it's so thin. It doesn't have a lot of like strength to the mesh. And you can tell when you're, you know, pulling your mesh, you can tell the ones that are really good quality. It's thick, it holds its shape. Okay, and I've got mine here. So thank you for information on the XB from Craft Outlet. I never knew that. That's clear. So yeah, the XB, it's not to say that it's a bad quality, it's just thin. So when you get it and you unwind it, you're gonna be like, wow, this is like, it's very soft though. But it just has colors and textures that we like, and we generally can't find these colors anywhere else. So just remember XB, like a group member said, extra bad. It's not extra bad. It's just you're going to have to work with it a little harder. But on this design, it's going to work out good for us. Let's see, Diane from Chicago, question for you. I watched your video on how to pack and ship. Was wondering if you had hand deliver wreath. Do you follow the same procedures if you were shipping it? To a certain extent. I don't secure the wreath into the box, but I do provide them with a box. This way they have a way to store it when it's no longer in season. I still add the thank you card, an invoice so they have a receipt of the sale, tissue paper just because it looks nice, obviously no mailing label, but that's pretty much about it. I know that there's people who say, well, what if you're at a craft fair? Or how would you deal with somebody who purchases a wreath? You know, do you provide boxes there? At that point, I think I would probably take, Home Depot sells, it's between 30 and 35 gallon clear trash bags. And what you can do is you can take the wreath, store it in the trash bag, kind of, you know, do the knot at the end, and then that's a way that they can carry it until they can get it home. So there's that option. It just saves you because the boxes are between $3 and $5 a piece for that size.
You can even, remember like we've done before, you can even put a hanger through the wreath and hang it on a hook.
Yeah.
In the car. Yeah.
So Nancy was saying hers was white and frays really bad. So my tip for preventing the frays on this particular type of Deco mesh, you can use the wood burning tool to cut it. And what it does is it seals that cut end. And then also using this technique takes that cut edge and it's containing the cut edge inside the curl. So that helps. Now, if you were using a jute mesh that also comes with the XB, in that case, you're going to probably have to rotary cut it, and then you'll need to spray it with the E6000 adhesive spray once you're all done. And that'll help keep those pieces from not fraying anymore, and then you can just trim it up before you get ready to ship it. I'm just going to paper clip close in that one because I moved it over. And we'll pull.
Jeremy, yeah, we've seen that too.
What's that?
So I tried to bag my wreaths once, like sold at craft fairs, and most people said they didn't need or want the bag.
Yeah, and that's, you know, perfectly fine as well. I don't like the way that it kind of like will form.
Mm-hmm.
If you store them in the bags, and it's a Deco mesh, depending upon how it is hung and how tightly they pull that knot at the bottom, you could cause it, because it's sitting in a garage for, I don't know, 6 to 7 months, the top of it to kind of round out. And then you might have to, you know, try to reheat it, let it sit out in the sun, try to reform it. Those are kind of a hard save to bring back.
Anna, yeah, the private group will still be meeting on Sunday.
Yes. Oh, no.
Because it's
That's right, it's Easter. I totally forgot.
That's right. Okay.
For some reason, I was thinking Easter was last week's Sunday, and then, so yeah, great question. No, Sunday will be Easter. So we will not be meeting in either group, in the public or the private. Just to give you guys time to enjoy time with your families, because for us here, 3 o'clock would be 3 o'clock, right in the middle of everything. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I totally forgot.
I'm a little bit out too.
Huh?
I'll pin it.
What's that?
That you won't be on Sunday?
Yeah. I'll post it in the private, in the public group. Just a reminder. Wow, hard to believe. Look, Easter, going into April now. Month 4 of the year 2021, right? I always say that. Summer will be here before we know it. 3. I'm going to do this one more. Thank you, Debbie. Happy Good Friday, too. I feel like I've been a day behind this week. I don't know why. 2, 3. Okay. What do you guys think of this color so far? Do you think this was a good match for that particular sign?
Yeah, I do. A couple guys always said it's going to turn out beautiful.
Sharon, when you spray it with the E6000, do you spray the cut edges or wait and spray the whole wreath when you're done? I spray the whole thing when it's done, focusing just on the edges of the Deco mesh. And then I would trim everything up. Oops, wasn't counting. You can kind of tell it gets a little thick. Perfect. The kind of Deco mesh Irvina asked. It's just a regular, Deco mesh, whatever we call it, the poly Deco mesh. Mm-hmm. It's just a little on the thinner side. So you have to thicken this up. If you were to do ruffles on this, and let's say, for example, you did 20-inch ruffles, it would almost be too transparent. Even though we're going to come in with a sign and ribbons and tails and bow, I don't think you'd be happy with the overall look. 1, 2, 3.
She said hello, love the color.
Hi, Cindy. Hi, Audrey.
David came in and said, Good Friday blessings, worldwide replay, watching Pastor Jack Gibbs, who is also our pastor.
Yes, he is. Yeah, they're doing the Good Friday service right now. Yep.
Regina, all these pieces are cut to 30 inches to give it some more thickness.
And it's funny because even cutting them to 30, it feels like you cut them to 15. But it's going to do good enough coverage for this particular base. And then I questioned it right before we went live. I was like, should I go in and just add beige all the way to the bottom and just give it some more volume? Mm-hmm. And then that's when I did the mock-up, which is why I had the 3 pieces already in the Bodabra. So we could kind of get a quick sneak peek at what the finished product would look like. Okay, got about...
Hi, gals, just joining.
2.
Carol Ann said, you look beautiful in purple today.
Aw,
yes,
thanks.
She always looks beautiful.
I was like, whew. Did I have enough? Yes.
Delia, I think this is going to be like a roll and a half of mesh, right?
Yeah, I would say a roll. Yeah, roll and a half would be generous. I got 12 pieces out of the first roll, so that'll let you know how far you can get in one, cutting it to 30 inches. And then, yeah, do 6 in the other. That'll make you about, roll and a half. And it's crazy because I think this Deco mesh is actually more expensive than some of the thicker, like whiter foil, but it's the color.
Ann said, sorry, one more question. I'm new to making wreaths.
Oh, feel free, ask questions.
If you make the border with a ribbon ruffle or a cruffle, what type of design would I add to the top or the inside? I'm making a University of Michigan wreath. You just make it all the same, right? She's talking about outside being the woodland ruffle and then inside. I mean, you could do ruffle on the inside if you wanted to.
I would just keep it all the same.
Yeah.
It depends. Like, you know, are you doing a round sign? How big is the sign? What type of material are you doing it with? If I was doing this with thicker Deco mesh, I wouldn't be cutting them to 30-inch pieces, even though I was doing the Cruffles. I'd probably only go to 25. I think I'm getting all these ones. I think I skipped one. Let me go back and get this one.
Lydia, that'd probably be really cool. She said, with the ombre metallic mesh that has the seafoam green in it, look good for this. Yeah, it would.
It could. Yeah. The thing with the sign is it's like it's more trending towards a green. Like when you look at the darker tones in the sign, it's a real true like Kelly green. And so you like look at your ribbon and you're looking in all the blues and you kind of get that teal or turquoise color, which is not even close. It's more blue than green. So this was probably the right Deco mesh, but then, it became a challenge to try to find the right ribbon for it. So we're kind of going in, kind of cheating a little bit. I went with the beige to introduce the beige to bring in the background color. And so this becomes more of a tropical lagoon, and then the beige will become that sand color. So normally when I do my beach wreaths, they go more teal on the blue tones than this one. One, two, 4, 5, 6. Can't believe the prices of mesh and pencil frames now. I agree with you, Barbara. I started looking at those prices and I was like, wow, what happened? It's like big, huge price increases now. It'll be interesting to see what's going to end up happening as we get closer to Christmas, when we get into our holiday season. Okay, and we are done with our base. Let me make sure all my ties are to the outside. Sometimes they have a tendency of getting twisted. I think we're good. Okay, so there's our base. You can kind of see little pockets, but we're going to be filling those when we add our sign, when we add our ribbon, when we add our bows. So that's our basis. And so now we are going to, let's add our sign. So I am going to grab my floral wire. I'm going to do this in a 22 gauge to secure this to my wreath. I think we're going to do something similar. We'll do the bow at the bottom, because if we try to do it to the left or right, you're either going to impact her head or you're going to impact the words to the right. So I'm just using a 1.5 millimeter hole punch, metal hole punch. We're going to pop a hole in the bottom, and we're going to do one at the top. Then I'm going to put my floral wire in. And get this all secured in. Do it down here. Yeah, right, Stormy? She's like, buy now. I think I'm good. I've been trying to pick up the ones that I like, that I know are probably not going to be around in Christmas. A lot of the fabric or jute mesh that I use for my more country Christmas, those have a tendency of not being available when you need them. So I'm going to go right down to my frame, and I'm going to use the one of the inside, trying to get it in the right spot, and then I'll readjust all my Cruffles. So let me just get this one in. Okay. I'm going to try to match this up with the other one. The good thing is once you've wired these all the same, you pretty much know, you're going to have one completely on the opposite side in the center. I'm going to take these and I'm going to pull the ones that are on the outside only. So give me just a second and I'll adjust things and it'll lay better. So what I mean by taking the outside, so the outside 12. So let me maneuver this a little bit. So I'm pulling the Cruffles for the 12 on the outside. So that right now they're laying underneath. So I'm going to pull them out. Maneuver those around. This is where having a thinner mesh can be a little bit of an asset too. So I'm leaving the interiors. Just like so. And I kind of want it seated into the wreath like this. So I'm going to show that to you while I go ahead and finish off my wire in the back. Because otherwise I'll hear it drag all over the mat. Okay. So I'm just grabbing these. Okay. And then what you have at the back is these are the 6 on the inside, babe. The inside 6. So those will take up that spot. Okay. There we go. Just like so. All right. We're going to go around and add our ribbon tails, which I'm using 3 different color. 2.5 inch. So we have a tan with gold and white spots, like little speckles. We have a coral and starfish on the white cream. And then we have Steve's favorite ribbon, the stretchy ribbon. So 4 of each of these, and they're cut to 14-inch pieces. So we're going to just alternate these all the way around the outside 12. And we're just going to fan them outward. Helps if you make piles. So I just looked for a bunch of different types of beige ribbon with, I liked the ones with the gold and the white. A lot of glitter that plays to the metallic in that sea foam. Okay. There's this one. Here's your stretchy. Okay, back to this one.
Yeah, she does trim her pipe cleaners once she adds all of her finished ribbon tails and everything down.
Yeah, I've learned a lesson over these many years. You don't remove anything until you're finished and you're happy with the look. Because sometimes you might not like the way a particular ribbon looks, and once you've cut it down, then you've got to snip it off, redo the whole section. So
Karen asked you, how do you determine where to put your signs? I am new to wreath making.
Well, obviously in a 12-inch round, it's going to be pretty much right in the middle on a 14-inch because you only have so much real estate to work with. They had this sign available in an 8-inch, but it just seemed really small. So I would have had to fight with not over embellishing it so that you lose track of the sign because you're looking at everything else on it. So it just, Pinterest is the perfect place to look for a lot of things. You know, if you have the sign, you could pull up mermaid wreaths and whatchamacallit, just to see what Pinterest has. You'll see a wide variety of different options, but it kind of helps you with color choices. Sometimes if you're lucky, you get something with the exact same sign on it. But it just kind of helps give you a visual on the wreath before you go ahead and start cutting into ribbon but that's definitely something we talk about in our private group when we do our tutorials, especially at the beginning of the year. We talk a lot about design and how to make things work. Okay, making sure I'm doing these right. And I think I already did one wrong. Hold on. This should have gone. I just got to switch places with these two. I was like, I knew it was different. Move them around. It's the wire, then this. That's the thing with patterns. You got to make them work all the way through. We'll just move this one over. Thank God I wasn't more than halfway through. I just had to adjust 3. Let's see. Do you dovetail all of your ribbon tails? Great question, Ellie. This, it's called like a basket weave or a waffle weave. You can't really dovetail this one because it's a woven ribbon, so if you cut into it, it will just unravel. So there's certain ones you can dovetail and then certain ones you can't. But most of the regular wired ribbon, yes, always dovetail. I prefer it. You could go with cutting it at a diagonal, but it just looks more finished that way than just leaving it straight. And I'll show you how to do that when we put the bow together. This one. So I think I have all of my embellishments that I'm going to want to use. Think being the key word. And I'll show you the difference that the stretchy does. So you don't have to dovetail, you can kind of flare it out like bell bottoms. Now I've already decided where half bows are going to go on this particular design. I'm saving the mesh netting for adding all of my embellishments like the spiny stars. I forget what these ones are called. There's a specific name for them. I call them pencils.
Pencil starfish or finger starfish?
I don't know. But these are the shiny or spiny ones because they have like the little nubs on them. And then we're going to be doing the seafoam green. I guess they call these what, snail shells, kind of. So we're going to be using those. So only where I have this particular type of mesh, maybe some others. Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to put in those around the outside 6. So.
And Melissa, yes, on this particular design, she did push the 12-inch round a little bit further down into the wreath to kind of create a border.
Yes.
From the curls and the cruffles.
Exactly. Okay, so let me look at where I want certain things to be. I think I'm going to put my bow. Normally I put my bow at the right smack at the bottom. Let's see. if I do that, it's going to occupy one of my spots. Let's do this one here. I'm just looking at just general placement of where these would go. Bow. So I know which ones not to occupy something in. Oh, this will go up here. One of these is off to the side. Let's see. If we go here, I kind of want them more visible.
Deborah, if you're getting captions on the bottom of the screen, if you're using a mobile app, tap on the phone. You should see 3 dots on the right top corner. Tap on those 3 dots and you should see something that says turn off captions. And I'll take that off your screen.
I'm going to move this one over just because I want more basket for the spiny. And then I'm going to move this one because it'll go under my bow. Okay. So I kind of got like, I think this is kind of where I want to eventually put my embellishments. So now I'm going to come in with the 1.5" ribbon where I'm not going to be embellishing. And I'm going to use, I have an 1.5". It's kind of weird. It's kind of a bluish green woven ribbon. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's not glitter. It's just got like metallic threads through it. So these are cut to 18 inches and I'm going to go up to about 2 inches after it's folded. Just like this, there's 2 inches, and then I'm going to place these around. And here is where I will cut these off. Okay. And I'll show you what a half bow does. It basically fills that little spot in here. So people are always saying, well, how do you hide the pipe cleaner? You can put a half bow on it. And this is the effect the half bow will give you on that design. It just kind of fills that space. So I'm kind of bringing in a little bit of, I guess it's like a fish scale, mermaid scale. Fan this out. Okay, there's that one. So I'm putting those on all the ones with the polka dots. I just think it makes a really nice complementing color to lay on top of that. This particular ribbon came from Craft Outlet, I believe. The meshy woven ribbon came from Joann's. I think you can get it at Craft Outlet in the race shop, however. The 2.5 inch with the starfish and the coral came from Joann's. The polka dot, this one came from Joann's last year. It was in their Christmas section, which, believe it or not, I'm always looking for Christmas decor at Christmas time for the beach, because that's usually when you get the really pretty metallics that I like to use in my designs. And then this, which is like an ombre, it fades from a light blue all the way into that green. This came from Burton & Burton, which is a wholesaler. So you have to have a business license to order from them. And I'm going to be putting these in the spaces where I'm not going to be embellishing with a starfish or a seashell. Can get this back. I have like a debris pile. Should have brought my trash can over, but it's funny, I'll have my trash can sitting here and I won't ever use it. I just like kind of stockpile it here. Okay. Going around the outside. I think we forget it's Easter because our kids are all grown and we don't do the whole Easter basket. And our kids are all one set of kids. It's fairly close. The other one lives up in Northern California. So the whole Easter basket thing is, I don't do it anymore. I miss it. Okay. Put this one here. Do you guys have plans for Easter? Okay, do you have to have the sign pushed down into the center? Can you have it sitting up a bit on top?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
I have an 8-inch round sign. I'm going to... See, the 8-inch round is going to be... You can move it to the side more. The 12-inch are pretty limited. So imagine if I moved it just this much further, then I would really have no real estate off to the side. So you either have to go a bigger wreath frame on a 12-inch. It doesn't have to sit so far in. The only reason on this one I'm doing it that way is because I want the Cruffles, these little curls, I want those to border the outside of the sign. So it's just kind of framing it for me.
Right. Just like I said, you can kind of let it float on the top as long as you can tie it down to the frame.
Yeah. And I think I'm tapped out because I have everything else where I'm going to do an embellishment. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my pipe cleaners where I'm going to embellish, because you can't glue a starfish down when you have a pipe cleaner in the way. So I'm still going to be using these. Just going to remove these. I'm going to use this one. I have one more piece left, and I'll just put my seashell underneath. So I found the best deals to get your starfishes from is, believe it or not, Amazon. You can get a whole box. Because I've gone to Michael's, I've gone to Joann's, I've gone to Hobby Lobby, and you might get 3, but they're pretty expensive. And generally there's always going to be one that's slightly like not perfect. It might be chipped, one of the arms might be broken. Okay, this one's going to go
Yeah,
here.
so Lev said, hi, Kat.
Hi, Lev. Okay, here. What?
Kevin said, my kids range from 20 to 27 and still insist on the whole Easter festivities complete with dying eggs and baskets.
I love
I
that.
tried to stop, but they ganged up on me and said if I ever heard a thing called tradition.
Wow. Okay.
And then Lily said, so what would be an ideal or safe sign size to get for the 14-inch frames?
I mean,
no more than 12.
Yeah, definitely no more than 12, unless you're going this way, like a thin, like 6-inch side. I wouldn't, then you can go like 16-inch, but definitely not anything bigger than that. Just remember, watch the size of your frame. Even though on a 14-inch frame, you're going to push out your Deco mesh an extra 10 inches, which will give you 20, what is that, 20,
22,
no.
24.
14 and 10, 24 to 26 inch. It just depends on how you place them, which is why there's like a slight, sometimes it's 25, sometimes it's 26, sometimes it's 24. It just depends on where you position it, how even you are on your Cruffles. But yeah, I wouldn't go anything bigger than 16 inch. Even doing something, you can go long here and not so much down in here. And you can pull this up just by tucking tucking your little Cruffles in and bringing it up. But I like them when they sit in a little bit. It's kind of like taking a look in, like a porthole. Okay, I'm going to set this off to the side. We're going to make the bow.
Gals, the sign is actually pinned at the bottom. If you read it, the sign is from ThreeBirdsNestCo on Etsy. And I provided the link, so you should be able to just click on that and it'll take you there.
Okay. I have a question about Etsy. Yeah. Message me, Kylie. Or if it's super simple and quick, I can answer it for you now. I'm going to go ahead and pull all my ribbon out. I'm not going to use all of it. I'm not going to use the stretchy in the bow, but we're still going to use our, like these. I think I'm going to blend these out. I think I'm going to do it like so. I always tell you to do something pretty and patterned on the outside. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to take this one, which came from Joann's. So we're going to dovetail this one. All that means is bring your wired edges together. And then you're going to cut from the fold to the point. Just like so. So the higher up, always having like that central point is like your destination. Depending upon how far up you bring it is how deep your V will go into the to your ribbon cut. So this one's going to be 10 inches. And we're going to twist. So we always start with the right side facing up. Wrong side on the other side, and with the bow dabber it's just twist. So I'm going to just twist this fabric and lay it inside, and then I'm going to measure my loop size. What I want is 5.5 inches, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Kind of ballpark it, measure it. This one's not quite wide enough. Right about there, and then back out that full 10 inches, dovetail, I just like the deeper V's on my ribbons. Again, it's just more of a finished look. Okay. Do this one, and this one's going to be 9.5 inches for the tail and a 5-inch loop. Usually I will take it down a 1/2 inch on the tails for every ribbon addition I add. Same thing here. Flip it, twist, and then just measure. Perfect. And then out to 9.5. Did Kylie ask her a question?
No, I didn't see it.
I just sold a wreath to a friend.
Wow.
I just need to take it off of Etsy. So go into that listing on Etsy, and you're going to, I'm trying to think of how to do this off the top of my head. You're just going to deactivate it. So you don't have to actually click on the listing. Just go to your listing page, find it, there's a little setting wheel. Click on the little setting wheel, looks like a little cog, and then just click deactivate. So that way if you decide to make another one, you don't have to go back in and recreate the whole listing. You just basically renew or republish it.
Yeah, I just said the same thing.
Thank you.
I didn't even see that comment. I had to close that and log back in.
Oh, it was like a little ways up. Like I was waiting to see if she was going to ask the question. I think I'm going to push this one a little closer to the front. I like the mermaidy scale one. You're welcome. Congratulations. Okay. This one is going to be 9-inch tail.
So the ribbon, the 1.5 inch sheer teal she got from Michaels.
Oh yeah, this one, Michaels?
Yeah, the 1.5 inch blue with the swirl she got from Craft Outlet.
You're so good.
That's all it says. For the bow.
Oh.
You didn't finish that.
Yeah, I did. It's at the top. It's for the tails. So the ombre color.
So yeah, the 2.5 inch beige waffle ribbon is from Joann's.
Yep.
The 2.5 inch beige with the starfish coral is also from Joann's. The 2.5 inch beige with the golden white dots is also from Joann's.
There's a lot of Joann's ribbon in this one.
Yeah. And the other 2.5 inches is from Craft Outlet.
Wow. And Burton and Burton.
And Burton and Burton, yeah.
Oops. This one's slid. So Burton and Burton, Michaels, Craft Outlet, Joann's. So Joann's, Craft Outlet, Michaels, and Burton and Burton. That's where they all came from. Okay. This one can now take a resonance in the cart. Okay. So we're taking the Michaels one, and this these were 9-inch tails, 4.5 inch loop, and this is going to be 8.5 inch tail, again a 4.5 inch loop. And this is really sheer. So we're spinning it. You're going, once you have the 4.5 inch on the bottom measured, you can put your 2 fingers in the loops and pull. And then that way you know. I have a feeling this one is more along the lines of 5 inches. So I'm going to pull this one in. There we go. And then I can always adjust the tail. Let me just double check. This one, 4.5. There you go. This one doesn't have much life to the ribbon. It's kind of like all over the place. So I'm going to do this to hold it because it wants to spring out. See, it's kind of doing its own curly thing. Again, Christmas ribbon at Michaels. Now, we will do this one and then our swirly pattern. There's that one. This is going to go 8 inch. So now this will hold this in place. This is going to be a 4 inch loop. So we're going a little bit smaller now. Four inch. Okay. Here is 8 dovetail. debris pile. It makes it much easier. Just sweep it off the counter, goes right in the trash. And our last one, I love this one in Beach Wreaths because it's like, reminds me of the foam in the waves when they break on the shore.
Yeah.
It's also good at Christmas time because it's like the frost. So this is a 7.5 inch tail and a 3.5 inch loop.
Mary just wanted us, and I hope you're right about the more stores carrying the frames. I have a case ordered almost 3 weeks now and nothing. Try calling into the stores and see if they have them. If they do, maybe they can put some on hold.
I mean, I'm the same way. I have 2 cases on hold, and I think I did that, I want to say almost a month ago. So I'm just patient just because I know it's coming. It's just nobody can tell you exactly when.
Stephanie asked very nicely, so will you say the loop measurements again?
Yes, I will. Okay, so let me cut this one because it's easier when I can do it verbatim without like making and talking. Okay, so starting from the bottom, the longest one, it starts at 10 with 5.5 inch loops. Then it goes to 9.5 inch tails, 5 inch loops. Then it goes to 9 inch tails with 4.5 inch loops. Then 8.5 inch tails with 4.5 inch loops. Then 8 inch tails with 4 inch loops, ending with 7.5 inch tails and 3.5 inch loops. I think I got them all.
The smart thing to do would actually be look at the time right now, and you can actually click back in, and if you want to listen to it again, go back to the time and you can just replay it.
That's true. What a novel concept. Hey babe, can you grab me a white one instead of the beige?
Yeah.
I have a bag of beige down here, but not white. I'd rather end with the white. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to unstack. Oop, I almost lost my stack. Trying to get it all positioned. It's because of the slippy ribbon. Let me do this and get it all readjusted so I can pull these back up and make sure I have my fingers where they're supposed to be. There we go. And now we just twist. I prefer pipe cleaners over floral wire just because they give you a better grip. Just my preference. Okay, and now we will form it on our fluff board. I was going to ask Rusty to make me a board. I was going to pay him just so I have a really pretty board. I have to show you, a friend of ours makes wood cutting boards. And I'm in love with the one he just made, Steve. And I'm like, we're never using it for cutting. It's just going to be like a serving board now. Okay. So this is an 18 inch by 24 inch by 3/4 inch thick cutting board. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, 24 by 24 by 1 inch runs you about $10.78. Then you'll need about an inch C-hook, and you can add a nail for when we get ready to do the pro bow ones where you need the additional wire. And then this way it'll keep your bow from not rotating. And then all you're going to do is where your pipe cleaner is, you're going to hook that on your C-hook. Sometimes it takes a go or two.
Ellie, I'll have her check.
What's that?
She said that she thinks you missed a dovetail somewhere.
Yes, I did. Right here.
Thank you, Ellie.
You know why? It's because I was like trying to corral that so it wouldn't unspool out of the thing. Thank you for catching that. Okay. This is normally where I would catch it because you're separating and like looking at everything. So to fluff, you're going to pull a loop and a tail opposite directions. Then you're going to go over to the other side and you're going to do complete opposite. So I have a loop tail here. I'm going to do the loop and move my tail out over here so that my tails are opposite of each other, or the loops, and then the tails are too. And then when I go to grab the next one, I'm going to pull opposite. Tails here, so I'm going to go tail to the other side, go back over here. We're going to do the opposite. So what we've done is we've alternated our ribbon, so it's like there's no same patterns touching each other. See, like this. And then we're going to do the same as we bring each ribbon down. We're just going to follow that same pattern. Right now we're not fluffing, we're separating. So all I want you to do is separate. Okay. Go to the other side. Trying to get that one under where it needs to go. It needs to go over there. Same thing here. Opposite. And you're going to go here. And then here. I knew that this one was going to be a little long. I can totally tell. Way long. Let's fix that really quick.
Just like that, if you find one that's a little too long, you can just trim it off.
Yep, there's one I had to pull because I was like, that does not look right. And now is where you get to move all your colors around. Trying to get this one to separate from its tail. Doesn't like to, likes to stay close. Let's go up and over. Same thing. And because they're secured on that C hook, you can pick them up, you can pull them, you can manipulate them. This one back over.
Oh, Brenda, thanks. She said your hair looks so pretty.
Oh, thank you. Okay, there's that. Here's the other one. Okay, now, once we have our bow where we want it to be, you need to look at a few things. Generally, you can put your tails all to the side. You can fluff them and kind of have them intermixed. And that's kind of what it looks like right now. There's extra ribbon. Here at the bottom, because my bow is going to hang off on the bottom, I'm going to add it and then I'll just readjust my tails. I will probably take these ones, the longer 2.5, and bring them all to the bottom because you don't want them floating on top. To pull these to the bottom, but the other ones I think I'll leave right where they're at. If we need to trim them down to make them look better, we can definitely do that. So I'm going to pop this off. Let's put this over here. We're going to add this to the bottom of our wreath. So it's actually going to go down here. And so see how your tails would normally be up here. Once we get this secured on, we're going to move those tails around.
And so those ribbons are gorgeous.
Thank you. Okay. So much of what we do is complete blind.
Give it lots of likes and loves.
Okay. Now we need to readjust things. So I like loops to be at the top. Move this one to the side.
You can tell we have like a beach themed, mermaid themed backdrop.
You totally did that. Steve's like my stager. He stages everything. So if these are in your way, tuck them out of your way. Just like take that loop and tuck it underneath. And I'm going to do the same with this one on this side. So I'm going to tuck that under. That way I have a place for my bow to nest. Let's see if that one. Okay. Run these over. Bring these down. So I'm just getting everybody situated so the 2.5s are opposite, floating. And we're going to do up and down with this one.
I forgot too, I have that whole big old tray of seashells and stuff out in the garage.
Oh, it's okay, Steve. I don't need it. I appreciate it though. I already picked out all my seashells that I was going to use. That's what happens when you fluff for like a bow up here, is you have to, when you're doing them at the bottom, you need to pull all your tails down. You can kind of have them going out to the side, but the majority of the tails need to be to the bottom, the long ones. And then we can move the loops up, like so. I know it's hard to see because you guys are just seeing the back end of the bow instead of the front. Really want this one up. Okay. Trying to make it fluffy. Sometimes they get disheveled.
Thank you, Nancy. She said, Cat, your wreaths are beautiful. Love the one on the door. So beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Okay. So let me hold this up so you can see, because you guys were looking at the bottom of the bow as it was being made.
Right.
So there's our bow. And now we're just going to attach all of our embellishments. So I'm going to attach my spiny star. And the way that these fit in here, let's see how I can show you. They are going to go kind of like so. They kind of wrap around the Cruffles. So let's make sure. Gotta prime my glue gun. Oops. There we go. Gotta get it going. So I use Gorilla Glue to attach all my embellishments.
All right. Step is perfect for me in Southwest Florida.
Eeks, there we go. Okay. So knowing that we're going to go around our loop, that's how it's going to sit inside. I'll show you. Once I get this one here, see, there's my wire. It just wraps around. So I'm going to do this one on this side. So you have to fill that cavity where it goes in pretty deep. Otherwise, it's pointless putting your glue there. Again, I had to like think, how was I attaching that one? Okay. And then we'll attach our little, what are these ones called? There's a name for them. I don't think they're pencil stars. Okay.
Yeah, they're called finger starfish.
Finger starfish?
Yep.
Okay. I think they had a different name.
Nope, I'm looking at all the websites
Okay.
for sale, and they said
Finger.
10-inch white finger starfish look just like that.
Okay. Finger starfish it is then.
Bye, Lynn. Have a good Easter.
Okay. Same way as the spinies go in. And then we're going to add a couple of the seashells. I thought I pulled one off. Oh no, I have them here. Okay. That's where that one's going to go. I'm going to add a couple of these right underneath the little mermaid ribbon. So I'll show you what it looks like on that side. Add this one over here. We'll go lower. We'll go lower. Okay. Now, there was something we introduced on a couple mermaid wreaths a long time ago. We had these little crystals and pearls, and I have a few of the crystals left. These came from Michael's. They were in a bag similar to this, but then Steve went to Dollar Tree and found me these 12mm pearls, which are perfect for this. So I am going to actually add
For $1.
for $1. I'm not going to string them, but I'm going to tag these right. I'll show you where. I'll do it this way so I can spin the other ones. I'll work on this side.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Did you find it?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to add this one to the center of our bow. Okay. I like pre-picked out all my seashell colors. So I was like, okay, let's do that.
Guess that I found a bag of crystals the other day.
See? I like using the crystals too. I just think that those would be things mermaids would find on the bottom of the ocean. So I'm going to do a pearl and then a crystal.
Hi, Carrie. Said joining late. Happy Easter. Thinking warm, sunny thoughts. It's in the 30s today in New York.
Wow.
Well, we'd like to just kind of trade weather because it was 87 here today.
Yeah,
In
really hot
California.
in California.
We're in Victorville. I saw there was a new gal that was on earlier from San Diego.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be careful so these don't spill everywhere. And we're pretty much done. I'll show you what it looks like on the door. These don't go anywhere. You always want to make sure your lid's closed, so you don't pick it up and then go. Watch, you just stand there with your lid in one hand. Okay. So there's our mermaid, and here's what I was telling you about the stretchy ribbon. You can make bell bottoms out of them. So they just expand off to the side. Oops.
Right. Kind of looks like fish netting.
Exactly. That's the intention, right?
And that's kind of the reason why you don't want to dovetail those.
Well, you can't. They're
Right.
woven.
Right.
They'll just all come into.
Very apart, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. What do you guys think?
Karen, just depends. Normally she does get inspiration from her sign first.
Where?
She asks, do you buy your signs first and pick out your ribbons?
No. I kind of buy what I like.
Yeah.
I'll like go through and I'll be like, whatever the ribbon was, I was like, ooh, that's pretty. Look at that. I generally know like different color palettes, like the beiges will always go into beach or the rustic country wreaths. I'm always looking for different color blues for beach, but how's that a weird glare on it? Do you see it?
Not here, you don't see it.
Okay, because I'm like, all I see is white.
So what does it say? It says she is lifted.
She is tossed by the waves, but does not sink. So this was another version that Linda did. She did a blue one with a white background, and this one I like because the background is more neutral, so I could work with that one and blend it better. So, no. Generally, like Steve says, most of the time, like I knew pulling the sign, then I have to go into the craft room and look for mesh, look for ribbon, look for embellishments that'll kind of play to that. And that's how it goes.
And said, you amaze me with your creativity and color matches.
Aw, thank you.
Connie said, stunning, I'm in love. Karen said, gorgeous.
Thank you.
Nancy said, where do you get the net ribbon? That's from Joanne.
Yeah, this came from Joann's, this net ribbon, but you can find it on Craft Outlet in the reshop. I think, don't quote me, but the beige and white, they just came out with white, are out of stock. I don't know. Sign up for their, like, email me when this item comes back into stock. That's usually the best way to know when those items come in, or you could just search for it. It's just like stretchy ribbon. I forget what they call it.
Yep.
It's what we called it a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's from Joann's like 3 years ago when it came
they've
out.
Been covering it, but they've been carrying it pretty much every year, I think, right? Like we
No.
bought some last year.
Yeah, only because Joann's brought out all their Christmas they didn't sell, and that was 80%. I was like, I'll take all those. So, yeah, when it's only $1.50 a roll, you're like, I'll take all of them.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay, well, don't forget, we will not be live on Sunday. Spend Easter with your families. I will see you guys again probably next week, Friday. But knowing me, I will probably get impatient because we're not crafting over the weekend. And you might see a pop-up video sometime soon. But have a great weekend. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Good Friday. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everyone.